Good evening, everyone. I have 7 p.m. here on June 20th, 2022, here at City Hall, City Council meeting. Call the meeting to order and ask the city clerk to conduct the roll call, please.
Beaufore.
Here.
Birgen.
Here I am.
Drenkow.
Here.
Meyers.
Here.
Kangas.
Present.
Rathe.
Present.
Schneider.
Here.
And our guest council member had an emergency come up and will not be joining us this evening. So move into item C, Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Move into item D, approval of the agenda. Entertain a motion to do so.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Schneider, second by Rathe. Council discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Agenda is approved. Item E is approval of the minutes. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of the minutes of June 6, 2022 as stated.
Second.
Motion by Meyers, second by Beaufort. Council discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Section F is a public hearing. This is the date, time, and place for a public hearing on the adoption of the Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan for Bremer County, Iowa. Ms. Clerk, have you received any written or oral comments?
We have not, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any public comments from anybody that has joined us this evening? Seeing nobody rise, including Bill. Go back up and lay that down.
It's a hydraulic issue. We'll get it.
I gotcha. Go ahead and close the public hearing at this time and entertain a motion.
I would move approval of Resolution 2282, approving the adoption of the Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan for Bremer County, Iowa.
Second.
Motion by Kangas, second by Rathe. Council discussion, if any?
It's very thorough. There was a typo that said we're in Buchanan County. Did you see that?
I didn't know.
Right at the
Yeah.
beginning of the description of Waverly. I thought Rod would bring it up, but since he's not, I'll mention it.
So I tried to read the whole thing, but so on page H19 through H26 is a listing of kind of priorities and things that need to be done. And a number of them have the primary agency responsible for implementation.
City Council.
And there's a whole lot of them that say city council on it. So as long as we're signing on to this thing that we're agreeing to be responsible for, how many of these things are we regularly doing? And how many of these things are things that we need to do?
And what mechanism is there to do them? That
Well,
was
I mean,
my
presumably
question.
that'd have to be like, on our agenda. I mean, there's gonna be things like, training and educating emergency service personnel. Yeah, we do that, that's, our EMS, our fire department, our police department. But, we need to maintain mutual aid agreements. City council is responsible for that. Is that something that we are doing? Is that something that we need to make sure we're doing? I mean, there's like 5, 6, 7 pages of this, of things that we're responsible for. And I would just like some reassurance that while we're agreeing to be responsible for these things, that we're actually going to do them.
What page is that? H?
H19 through 26.
It's actually
In our
293 of
Yeah,
the five.
it's about 293 of the document.
So I can speak in relative form that there's a lot of these plans that are out there that even emergency operations plans that facilities have. And for regulatory, like JACO, for instance, at the hospital, you're identifying there may be deficiencies, but identifying at least that there's a deficiency, not that these are particularly deficiencies, but identifying who has the responsibility to them, much more than checking a box that it's done.
Yeah, I thought a lot of them looked like staff had probably already done them.
Sure.
And that we are the overseer of that. in an umbrella fashion, but
No, a lot of this is establishing authority who can do it, as the mayor said. It's not necessarily you will do it, you are going to do it, it's who has the authority to do it if necessary. So it's a lot of preparation work. Because, dredging the river, not going to happen. That's
Well,
EPA
I saw that, and I thought that was.
DNR, it's,
Well, and honestly, with our deflatable dam, it kind of, dredges itself after a good high water event, so.
but that's what a lot of this is, going through it, we look through it, it is staff primarily, but you have to be the ones who actually authorize, sign off, et cetera. So you are the top organization with this.
The one in particular on that page, the third from the bottom, update emergency response plan that identifies city council and our emergency management agency, which is KIP. I know that having worked with the city of Tripola and KIP on emergency plan for the community, he really takes that on by making sure that those meld together where they come together and updates all of them across the county for the most part. But, yeah. Any other questions?
I suppose the other question I had was on page 24. There is a list, and that's page 24 according to the document. It's page 30 of the document. There's a list of the Bremer County hazard list. So we have it divided up into natural, technological, and human caused. And under human caused, we have terrorism. So I am thinking in the context of the Uvalde shooting that happened. Would that fall under, I would consider that a disaster event. I don't know if it falls under this category. When they talk about terrorism, would that kind of a shooting, if that occurred in Waverly, would that fall under that category of terrorism? Or would it not even be considered in this list?
there were definitions of
Correct.
each category.
Yes, there were.
And I can't remember.
In the context of terrorism, they brought up the 2002 PETA event where they released a bunch of minks in the county. That was like their example of a terrorist event.
Huh.
So just want to know, is that something that's on our radar in terms of a potential disaster we need to be concerned about? And do we have, they go through and they're putting a score from 1 to 4 for each of these things occurring, each of these different types of hazards occurring. So I'm just kind of wondering, is that sort of event on the list of things that we need to consider for, risk management?
It
Well-
certainly seems like it would fall within that category.
If you look at the definition, it probably depends on the motivation.
Correct.
Well,
behind
that
the
was
incident.
kind of
I
how
don't know,
I was
maybe
reading
the
it, so.
police chief would comment on that.
So that's on page 76 is where it starts talking about terrorism, so.
Right,
Usually when you're looking at terrorism, it's for a purpose of trying to.
Correct.
course.
Coerce someone
Correct.
to do something, government, others. A mass shooting is not usually terrorism in that standard because you're not coercing anybody, you're just committing that act.
Right,
Unless you're doing it in the name of something, then that's a little different, but
right.
If it's racially motivated or on behalf of an organization like that, it
Sure.
probably would qualify.
It could be terrorism, just,
Yeah.
depends on exactly what James said, but terrorism is kind of a catch-all for a
Right.
lot of things that may be going on.
It's fairly explicit in the probability or paragraph there, where it says the type of terrorist attacks that have the highest probability are those involving small arms, fire, community events. But overall, the probability of terrorist event occurring in the planning area is unlikely, less than 10%.
Sure.
So when you look
Definitely on
at,
the low ones, but,
probability in comparison to another risk of earthquake, would probably desire the same amount of attention when it comes to probability. I'm not a statistics doctorate like yourself to
Well, so-
run those numbers, but
so what they're doing is they're creating a weighted average between probability of something occurring, how severe it's going to be, how long it's going to last, and there was a fourth category that they were part of the and
Warning
so
time.
warning time. That's right. So those are kind of the four things that they're kind of in terms of when coming up with the score, you're weighted on all of those, and certainly terrorism, and this sort of shooting is a very low score.
But we, at the hospital, we train for it, just like we train for other potential
I
disasters.
mean,
We have active
I suppose
shooter drills.
that's
so-
only my question is, but here it's categorized as terrorism. But if we just simply had a lone nut going off with a gun, was not necessarily for, part of a terrorist organization, is that still, does this plan still apply?
Well, by the first paragraph, it would. If they have a social objective or a political objective, and it's going to
Right, but-
depend on the
Individual, but,
incident, right?
okay,
The response to it, until you know exactly what it is, might be of an emergency management, large-scale response, right?
right,
So from the emergency management side of things, though, we look at
probably
incidents on an all-hazard capability planning. That we, especially like Dr. Rathe said at the hospital, when I was doing that at the hospital, our plans are developed to basically unfold as whatever the event calls for. Rather than having a plan that says when the tornado goes by the hospital versus goes over the hospital, you don't need two different plans. You have a plan related to severe weather response, because you would have plans coming out of,
I suppose
Ears.
presumably, the type of shooting that I'm concerned about, like Uvalde, it would be treated the same as a terrorist act in terms of probability and preparation. So it probably doesn't need a separate
Category.
category.
Right.
But it's kind of, I just wanted to make sure that that was acknowledged, that that's kind of a potential event and probably should be included in here, or at least understood that it's subsumed by that terrorism
Okay.
entry.
You wouldn't know if it was terrorism until after the fact.
Correct, correct.
Just like you don't know the strength of a tornado until it's already gone,
Right.
then you determine what happened. Similar situation here.
Sure.
You wouldn't know till.
You would just
time
have to be able to
after.
respond to it
You'll
regardless.
respond regardless of what it is accordingly.
Fair enough.
And I do know, just thinking about Heritage Days, that after we had that windstorm a few years ago,
Right.
the committee did meet with KIP and came up with a really thorough emergency management plan, with various responses.
Good.
So I thought they took that very seriously and really, dealt with that appropriately. So that's probably the biggest festival we have here in town, so.
I also know that we only get one reading of this, so it's not like we get to come back at it more than once, so.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
I appreciate all the work that went into it.
All right, roll call, Carla.
Schneider.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Drenkow.
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Beaufore.
Yes.
Vote is 7-0. Resolution 22-82 is approved. Item G is proclamation. Ironman Battalion Day Proclamation. I'll read this. The 133D Infantry Regiment, the Ironman Battalion, July 14th, 2022, whereas service in the Iowa National Guard has been a selfless and noble calling for generations of Iowans dating back to the Civil War, and whereas the 133D Infantry Regiment, a part of the 34th Infantry Division, has continuously operated in Northeast Iowa since July 11th, 1921, and whereas the 1st Battalion of the 133D Infantry Regiment is proudly known as the Ironman Battalion, a distinction earned during World War II for a record 611 consecutive days in combat, and then reaffirmed during a nearly 22-month mobilization supporting Operation Iraqi Freedom from 2005 to 2007, and whereas thousands of Northeast Iowa civilian soldiers have volunteered for service at Iowa National Guard armories in Waterloo, Dubuque, Davenport, Owine, Iowa City, Iowa Falls, and Charles City, and whereas the 550-plus members of the Ironman Battalion recently completed a year-long federal deployment in Southwest Asia as part of Operation Spartan Shield, with operations in more than 24 countries, and whereas community support is vital to success of the Iowa National Guard and for the morale and well-being of Ironman Battalion members and their families at home. Therefore, I, Adam P. Hoffman, Mayor of the City of Waverly, and the City Council of the City of Waverly do hereby designate July 14th, 2022 as 133D Infantry Regiment Ironman Battalion Day in Waverly in recognition of the vital role of the Ironman Battalion in our nation's defense, and I do hereby encourage residents to seek out ways to support our Northeast Iowa National Guard soldiers and their families as they answer their nation's call in uniformed service in Iowa and across the globe. Entertain a motion to approve the proclamation.
I would move approval of the mayoral proclamation.
Second.
Motion by Kangas, second by Beaufort. Council discussion, if any? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. That'll be our third year of promoting our National Guard service. Section H is public comments on items not on the agenda. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes unless additional time is granted by the presiding officer. All remarks shall be addressed to the council as a whole and not to any individual member. Any public comments this evening? Seeing nobody rise, we'll move forward to the consent calendar, Section I. The following items will be acted upon by voice vote on a single motion without separate discussion unless someone from the council or public requests that a specific item be considered separately. Item 1 is a pay request from McClure Engineering Company for the Waverly Municipal Airport Taxiway Connector 2022 for the amount of $4,710.50. Item 2 is a pay request from Barry Smith Excavating for the Downtown Alley Reconstruction 2022 for the amount of $6,843.80. Item 3 is a pay request from Rick's Construction Incorporated for the Cedar Lane Reconstruction for the amount of $46,366.17. Item 4 is a pay request from Farnsworth Group for the Waverly building renovations at 117 First Street Northeast for the amount of $959.50. Item 5 is a pay request from Hall & Hall Engineers Incorporated for the Youth Ball Fields 2019 Cedar River Park for the amount of $265.50. Item 6 is a pay request from WHKS and Company for the Well 5 Reconfiguration 2022 for the amount of $152.55. Item 7 is a pay request from WHKS and Company for the SRF sponsored project for the amount of $2,672.48. Item 8 is a pay request from WHKS and Company for the WPC Facility Improvements 2020 for the amount of $18,949.26. Item 9 is a Class B beer permit for Bremer County Fair Association. Item 10 is a cigarette tobacco nicotine vapor permit for Waverly Tobacco and Pipe. Entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll move approval of the consent calendar as read by the mayor.
Second.
Motion by Drenkow, second by Schneider. Council discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Section J is regular business. Item number 1 is Heritage Days Committee update.
Doesn't look like they're here.
I don't see them.
We just talked with Jess on Friday. Something must have.
Something might have come up, so we can carry that over to another agenda first in July if it works out for them.
And she may have misunderstood. We had to move their alcohol permit application to July 11th due to some dram issues. So maybe she thought she needed to speak that night as well. So sorry about that.
All right. Item number 2, Resolution 22-83, a resolution approving contract for HR software from Ultimate Kronos Group, UKG. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of Resolution 22-83, approving contract for HR software from Ultimate Kronos Group, UKG, for the amount of $3,750 for the implementation, plus a monthly subscription fee of $10 per month per employee, or a minimum of $1,000 per month, whichever is greater.
Second.
Motion by Schneider, second by Meyers. Council discussion.
Let's see, we're not using a software now, right? This is our...
It's our first attempt to go into HR-specific software for recruiting, for performance retention. It's getting more and more difficult now to try and get employees coming in, so we're looking to streamline a little bit. But we've looked at it, a couple different versions, and this looked like to be the simplest one to run with. You know, Kronos has been around forever. Now they're Ultimate Kronos Group. I don't know it's any better than Kronos, but it sounds nicer. But that is the software that Danielle is looking to want to implement, and you see it before you know. And we talked about it earlier, budgeted for it. It was just finally time to get it to you. It'll take a few months to start. We won't start paying until at least 3 months after we get it implemented. So it'll be probably 5 months before we actually expend any funds on this, if they can get it going soon.
And this will handle like job applicants too, won't it?
Yep, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and performance evals and the whole shebang.
Yeah, I'm not sure how far it will go. We have to see how it's gonna mesh with everything else, but right now, it's just trying to get it started so that we can, implement some performance recruiting. Just a little bit of everything, try and make us a little easier to get some staffing in here when we do have turnover.
Is there an escape clause in case you hate it?
It was a 60-day out.
60 is there?
60
Okay.
deal, I believe.
Okay.
So this will be across all employees, all the way down to our part-time pool?
This is citywide, it's everything.
Cool. That was one question somebody had asked me, is this just our full-time regular staff or all of our seasonals too? So that's it.
It'll be all of it.
Good. Hearing nothing further, roll call, Carla.
Schneider.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Drenkow.
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Beaufore.
Yes.
Vote is 7-0, resolution 22-83 is approved. Item number 3 is resolution 22-84, resolution approving preliminary and final plat for Southgate Plat 1. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of Resolution 22-84, approving preliminary and final plat for Southgate Plat 1 on behalf of the owners, Wavetown Properties LLC.
Second.
Motion by Rathe, second by Birgen. Council discussion.
I just had a question of where this is. Is this the intersection where Titan Machinery was?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
I had one item I'd like to just clarify in an executive summary. Let's see if I can find it here. Disappeared off my screen. There it goes. All right. It's talking about the sidewalks that, why am I not finding it here now? Well, if I remember from when I read this before, that there would be a sidewalk on the west edge of Lot 3, and that there was a Lots 1 and Lots 2, when they were developed, or it had something in there about Lots 1 and Lots 2 would have something when they were being developed.
It's
would
the
there
first
be a
paragraph of the
sidewalk?
background information is what I think you're looking for.
Yeah, that's where it was. I wasn't spotting it on
Kind of the
here.
second half of it, so lots 1 and 2, and the potential for a strip mall on lot 4, sidewalk to be extended along the western property line of lot 3,
Right.
and then be included in the proposed 50 feet egress easement, and also along 29th Avenue.
I guess my question was, does that mean that Lots 1 and Lots 2 will eventually have sidewalks also, or is that yet to be determined? I was a little confused by that language.
So lot 3 is directly south of Quick Star.
Right.
There'll be a sidewalk along 4th Street, and then it'll go into the private drive. There'll be sidewalks along that private drive till it gets to 29th Avenue, and then the sidewalk will go to the east to the property line, and then to the west to that corner of 29th and 4th. So there won't be, on lots 1 and 2, there won't be sidewalk along 4th Street.
Along 4th
The
Street.
sidewalk will be on the interior of the lots along the private drive.
Okay.
And there'll be sidewalks on both sides of that private drive?
That I
Just-
don't know.
So
I
it
don't
should
remember if we
be like on the west
discussed-
side of 4th, and then potentially on the east side of 1 and 2?
I don't know if that shows.
I don't know that it shows
doesn't
that
really, does
detail,
it?
but
I thought that we were doing both, but we'll confirm that.
I mean, so it looks like there's a little dotted line showing sidewalk, kind of on the south side of Plat 3, and then on the west side of Plat 4.
Yeah. It's just on the one
Yeah,
side.
so
East side.
that and that.
Yep, I think it's just on.
But there's nothing
the east
on
side.
1 and 2, on either side. But I can't tell if there's something like along here or not.
Well,
Those
that's
dotted
your
lines.
frontage easement, so I
Okay.
know that it's.
The right-of-way on 4th Street's pretty narrow.
Sure,
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Is that why there's no sidewalk being proposed along 4th Street, because of the right-of-way is?
And
That's correct.
the slope too is very steep,
Yes.
and so in that corner, the intersection is really difficult.
Sure.
So we'd rather see people go across to Quick Star and Walmart Drive and then cross there.
Cut down the internal piece of it to the edge, and then it disperses east and west.
Okay. I wasn't sure what that language meant, what it was referring to, so I appreciate is there a sidewalk on the other side of 4th Street there at the hotel? That doesn't have one either.
Not past the entrance into Walmart.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call Carla.
Rathe,
Yes.
Meyers,
Yes.
Kangas,
Yes.
Drenkow,
Yes.
Birgen,
Yes.
Beaufore,
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Vote is 7-0, Resolution 22-84 is approved. Item 4 is Resolution 22-85, a resolution approving the purchase of a 2021 Case 621 GTS loader. Entertain a motion.
I will move approval of Resolution 22-85, approving the purchase of a 2021 Case 621 GTS loader for the amount of $147,783, including a trade-in for the amount of $43,900 from Titan Machinery of Center Point, Iowa.
Second.
Motion by Birgen, second by Rathe. Council discussion.
My only question was, what will this be used for? What does it do exactly? I wanted a picture, Justin, but you didn't give us any pictures.
This is used for snow removal throughout the summer, loading mulch,
Okay.
chips, whatever, It's multi-use all year
Okay.
long. We were happy to get bids.
I bet.
Yeah.
Well, and happy you could get one in July.
Yes, it was a demo unit is what it
Yeah.
was with 84 hours, so.
It's like
Yeah.
everything else was out until 2023.
Yeah.
And some of them, they can't even guarantee when you're gonna
And
get the
$40,000 or
companies
$50,000 higher, so
Right.
I understand we're, 12 over budget, and I think that that's right, that we
It's
should.
not too bad.
Yeah, do that,
No,
because
we were expecting a lot higher, so.
Okay, thank you.
could be cheaper in a year, but might not be, so.
Right.
All right, hearing nothing further, roll call Carla.
Meyers,
Yes.
Kangas,
Yes.
Drenkow,
Yes.
Birgen,
Yes.
Beaufort,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Vote is 7-0, Resolution 22-85 is approved. Item number 5 is Resolution 22-86, a resolution approving the construction plans and construction and maintenance guarantees for the Waverly Shell Rock West Elementary School. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of Resolution 22-86, approving the construction plans and construction and maintenance guarantees for the Waverly Shell Rock West Elementary School.
Second.
Motion by Drenkow, second by Beaufort. Council discussion.
Well, we got a lovely letter today encouraging us to make sure that there are sidewalks to and from all the schools. And it seems like there are at least sidewalks to this street. So I suppose it's ultimately not our decision, it's the school board is the one making the plans, but I would like to encourage them to make sure that there is sidewalk access for all of their schools.
Anything else?
I'm assuming that city staff doesn't have any particular problems with this guarantee arrangement, since it is a little bit unusual.
Was that a question or
I
a?
would tell you, that's the compromise that was approved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, unusual is a good term for it, right? It's been a process the entire way through, start to finish, so we're glad to get to a final groundbreaking. It's unique, that's for sure. It's not
And
something
I
one
understand the school has gone through a lot of machinations just to get to this point, so I certainly don't want to throw any monkey wrench into the works right now, so.
But
Even though it might open up some potential liability for the city, I think the chances of that are pretty minor.
All right,
I suppose, how is this different from the previous plan we approved for the other school location?
Is it?
It's not, it's the same arrangement for
Okay.
the guarantees.
all right, hearing nothing further, roll call Carla.
Kangas,
Yes.
Drenkow,
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Beaufort,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Meyers.
Yes.
Vote is 7-0, Resolution 22-86 is approved. Item 6 is Resolution 22-87, a resolution approving Amendment Number 2 to the Professional Services Agreement with WHKS and Company for the Rolling Prairie Trail Extension 2021. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of Resolution 22-87, approving Amendment Number 2 to the Professional Services Agreement with WHKS and Company for the Rolling Prairie Trail Extension 2021 for an additional not-to-exceed amount of $2,500.
Second.
Motion by Rathe, seconded by Meyers. Council discussion, if any.
So I observed that part of this was it the granular trail? So is that like crushed rock or, as a cyclist, I really hate riding on granular material. So what caused that choice to be made?
So this has turned out to be one of the most challenging and drawn-out design approval processes that we've gone through. And in working with our consultant and with the DOT, normally, you kind of go through one iteration where, okay, we need to develop a redesign and everyone's kind of in agreement and stuff. And so I think we went through at least 3 design iterations, and it was a situation where you kind of looked at it and you're like, okay, not what we were hoping for and not a good solution. And so this design process has been strung out now for more than a year. And the intersection itself just turns out to be extremely challenging. It's a very large, very wide intersection. You have left turn lanes, right turn lanes, offset right turn lanes. And so the best solution was to move the crossing away from the intersection further west. And the best option to do that was to use the old highway right-of-way. Our dilemma is this is an occasionally used service drive for Northern Natural Gas, which has they call it a town gas station, or where it transitions from a very high pressure gas line to the lower pressure to serve the community, and that's where Mid-American Gas takes over. It also has a field access. And because of those two situations, it is not, that section is not eligible for federal funds, because at that point it becomes a shared use path with vehicles, and they simply won't fund that, even though it's an occasional farm tractor during the harvest or an occasional service vehicle going to the town gas station there. So the solution was to basically utilize the gravel section that's there, and then to rebuild the west half that was of the old road bed that was removed. This was the best viable, cost-effective solution that we can come up with. Yes, it is a gravel section, but to try to design a hard surface section that would withstand farm equipment was going to be cost prohibitive. We don't, is that farm equipment a four-wheel drive? Is it a combine? Is it loaded grain wagons or a semi, an occasional semi-truck that may service it? It was just going to become cost prohibitive to try to build it and maintain it as a hard surface section.
So which part of this, we have the whole stretch, which part of it are we expecting to be used? Which part of it does the farm equipment use?
I'm not sure if you're able to see the field access on the drawing.
I can see the access to, I'm going to say, to the gas pump or not.
So I know that there's one field access just shortly after you turn off of 10th Avenue. There may also be another field access that is less used even further to the west, past the gas station.
So the picture
So
that's
that's
included
one
of the
there.
gravel road, basically,
Yeah. So
is
another
that
one.
stretch?
Correct.
And will the new bike path be to the side of that? Or just use
Be
it on
that.
top of it? Okay.
Now, we're going
that one.
to cap it off with a very fine aggregate. So it will have a coarse, durable aggregate underneath to create the base, but then the top will be a much finer aggregate that will be a smoother surface.
And that surface is similar to the old style of your high school running track?
Yes.
That fine granular, okay.
Any concerns about maintaining that, since there will be farm equipment going over it, that we're gonna have to maintain it a little bit more often?
We'll have to see how it holds up. I think it will probably hold up fairly well. Again, the farm equipment is just very occasional and very seasonally related. So we're honestly not anticipating a lot of usage. I'm not aware of the paved shoulders going to Shell Rock that get much usage. Again, this is going to be for more experienced bikers, cyclists that are willing to be on a paved shoulder along Highway 3 to Shell Rock.
I guess my concern was if you have a combine going over it or something, and it tears up the surface, then that's gonna have to be repaired. I mean, we have the path, we have to
Yeah.
at least maintain it, but that should be not a everyday occurrence, but I don't know how durable these things
Yeah.
are. What you're saying is, well, we'll just have to put it in and see if we have any issues with it. It won't be something that we'll have to fix every other day. It might be once or twice a year.
I don't see evidence of that on the existing gravel section that's already there. I'm not seeing evidence of that type of concern. So we're hopeful that it'll be very good solution.
Okay.
All right. Hearing nothing further, roll call, Carla.
Drenkow.
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Beaufore.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Vote is 7-0. Resolution 22-87 is approved. Item number 7, Resolution 22-88, a resolution accepting the Public Services Center North Addition 2021 building project as complete and approving the final payment. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of Resolution 22-88, a resolution accepting the Public Services Center North Addition 2021 building project as complete and approving pay application number 13 in the amount of $5,000 as a final payment to Cresco Building Services of Cresco, Iowa.
Second.
Motion by Drenkow, second by Birgen. Council discussion, if any, or staff?
It's a nice building. I appreciated the open house, the staff were very hospitable, and I learned all about the water department and all these other things, so it was nice to see the public out there checking things out and learning about what city staff do.
I'm very happy that it's completed. It's much needed for the community. I'm going to be voting no because I have asked several times. I think that the Emergency Response Center, I've asked about naming it for former Councilman Borum. So to me, it's not complete, but that's just me. I'm glad that the rest of it is working. It's what its community has needed. If you have gone to the old where they were prior to that, even before the Phase 1 building where they were really working on having to work outside to work on things.
So is there a process for proposing a name for a building? I don't know if that's been done before, or?
There is a very old resolution that spells out the process, but I'd be happy to email it out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything further? Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Birgen.
Yes.
Beaufore.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
No?
Drenkow.
Yes.
Vote of 6-1, Resolution 22-88 is approved. Item 8 is Resolution 22-89, a resolution accepting the South Riverside Pavilion project as complete and approving pay application number 12 and pay application number 13 as the final payment. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of Resolution 22-89, accepting the South Riverside Pavilion project as complete and approving pay application number 12 for the amount of $5,292.38 and pay application number 13 for the amount of $35,902.83 as the final payment to Cardinal Construction Incorporated of Waterloo, Iowa.
Second.
Motion by Rathe, second by Birgen. Council discussion.
I would note, I mean, this was something of contention in the campaigns last year in terms of cost and why we were doing certain things, but I have had a number of people that have commented to me on the stamping of the concrete that is complete, that has the rail in there, and how it looks a lot better than what they had originally thought it was going to be. Still concerned about how quickly that stamping will fade, and whether we would have to restain or do anything else with that, but a number of people that had previously been skeptical like that look. Appreciate that aspect of the historical nature of it.
Excuse me, this isn't directly related to the pavilion, but I wonder if Garrett could give us an update on the landscaping around it and what's going to be happening with that over the next few months?
Sure. So the plaza area was seeded, I'm not going to remember the date, second week of May, somewhere in there, second or third week of May. That grass is growing in pretty decent, along with some weeds as well. But it's actually growing in pretty good. I just received today change order and a request for final payment that will be coming for the plaza, as the plaza is almost complete. I have not done a final walkthrough yet on that, so that'll be coming here in the next week or so. And then probably a final, or a request for final payment at a July meeting. So we're right there. One thing that's kind of in the works is come sometime mid-August, late August, early September, somewhere in there, possibly a grand opening down there to get, you know, everyone who wants to come out and see it. I mean, you can see it anytime, but you know, the plaza's not really ready to be walked on yet or anything like that. But sometime here, late summer, early fall, we're gonna plan on having a little celebration down there to kind of just get it open.
Good. Thank you.
Yep.
Anything further? Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Beaufore,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Rathe,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Drenkow.
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Vote of 7-0, Resolution 22-89 is approved. Item number 9 is Resolution 22-90, a resolution approving a grant agreement between Iowa Economic Development Authority, IEDA, and the City of Waverly to administer the downtown housing grant for the theater building redevelopment project and approving the development agreement between the developer, Movie Guys LLC, and the City of Waverly for the grant. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of Resolution 22-90 as read by the mayor.
Second.
Motion by Drenkow, second by Birgen. Council discussion.
Glad to see this moving forward again.
Hearing nothing further, roll call, Carla.
Schneider,
Yes.
Rathe,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Drenkow.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Beaufort.
Yes.
Vote is 7-0, Resolution 22-90 is approved. Item number 10 is Resolution 22-91, a resolution concerning a request for additional funds for the Visionary Sightseeing Binoculars Project in South Riverside Park. Entertain a motion.
I will move approval of Resolution 22-91, considering approving the request from Rebecca Hackman of Manhattan, Kansas, for $530 of additional funds for the Visionary Sightseeing Binoculars Project in South Riverside Park.
Standing on a motion with no second. The proposed resolution will die on the failure of receiving a second. Moving forward to item number 11, third and final reading of Ordinance 1105, an ordinance providing for rezoning of multiple City of Waverly properties to reflect the current use of the properties. Entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the third and final reading of Ordinance 1105, providing for rezoning of multiple City of Waverly properties to reflect the current use of the properties.
Second.
Motion by Schneider, second by Rathe. Council discussion? Hearing none, roll call Carla.
Meyers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Drenkow.
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Beaufore.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Vote is 7-0. The third and final reading of Ordinance 1105 is approved. Item number 12 is the second reading of Ordinance 1106, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinance of Waverly, Iowa by repealing Chapter 34 Hazard Mitigation and River Use Commission, Chapter 35 Personnel Board, and Chapter 48 Cable Television Commission. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of the second reading of Ordinance 1106, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of Waverly, Iowa by repealing Chapter 34 Hazard Mitigation and River Use Commission, Chapter 35 Personnel Board, and Chapter 48 Cable Television Commission.
Second.
Motion by Meyers, second by Birgen. Council discussion, if any?
So I had someone ask me last week for more information about the Cable Television Commission. When's the last time that's met? And is there another commission that does similar work that is meeting? I mean, does this person seem to think that they were on such a commission sometime in, like a meeting of this kind sometime in the last year? And he was kind of like wondering if that was the commission or if it was something else he was confusing it with.
No, he is correct, and we have not had a meeting since he was appointed, so it's probably been just over a year.
Okay.
The Telecommunications Board at Waverly Utilities kind of does the same thing. But again, since we haven't met and there hasn't been a lot of action with the commission, we just felt like those were items that the staff and the mayor and council could take care of.
So this commission hasn't met in a year.
I'm the liaison on the council with that commission.
Okay.
We met, I believe it was last summer for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And we have met one other time during the other 4 years that I've been on council.
Okay.
And I unfortunately missed that meeting and realized that I had been appointed to that commission.
Okay.
So, we had a very short discussion about whether it was really worth it to have this commission and have these people who are, have busy lives and other talents, that we could perhaps use their talents better somewhere else rather than have them as members of that commission.
Because can you remind me what sort of business, back when it was a more active commission, what came before that commission?
Certainly, the meeting, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, Carla, the meeting that we had last summer was to approve the rates at Wartburg that we were, the rates that we were paying Wartburg for televising the meetings of the council and the Board of Adjustment and those other meetings. The one that I missed like 3 or 4 years before, I have no idea since I wasn't there. I'm not sure what that meeting was for.
So, yeah, last year we did meet to go over the agreement, the renewal agreement between Wartburg and the city of Waverly. We've also met for the purchase of the TriCaster that we just kind of, not quite finished, but we're working on the TriCaster. Yeah, this is the first night of it, so we're testing it out. Other things that we would do would be to talk about the programming on the government channels. We would talk about the website. Actually, the website hosting comes out of that account. My goodness, we just went through it this afternoon. But things like that, those type of business items that we just felt like staff and council could probably cover instead of wasting their time, and maybe they would be better served on another board or commission.
I think when this commission was set up was when cable television was just new. And, there were a lot of questions, a lot of opportunities, a lot of issues about how we go forward with that. And it made sense to have a commission to be able to run that. But at this point, I think all of those purposes for having the commission have pretty much disappeared. And I agree that the small amount of work that the commission does can easily be handled by either the council itself or by staff.
Thanks.
Anything further? Hearing none, roll call Carla.
Kangas,
Yes.
Drenkow,
Yes?
Birgen.
Yes.
Beaufore.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
A vote of 7-0, the second reading of ordinance 1106 is approved. Item 13 is approval of the mayoral appointments. I'll go ahead and read those so one of you doesn't have to. Approval of the following mayoral appointments. Karen Lehman is reappointed to the Historic Preservation Commission for a term expiring June 30th of 2025. Linda Podolsky, Deanna McHugh, and Jim Jansen are reappointed to the Waverly Public Library Board with all terms expiring July 1st of 2028. Dan McKenzie is replacing Darren Westendorf from the Economic Development Commission for a term expiring July 1st of 2025. Katrina Lucas is reappointed to the Economic Development Commission for a term expiring July 1st of 2025. And Robert Frederick is replacing Troy Miller on the Economic Development Commission for a term expiring July 1st, 2025. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I will move approval of the mayoral appointments.
I'll second.
Moved by Birgen, second by Kangas. I'll open up discussion here with the two comments that Mr. Westendorf and Mr. Miller did not seek reappointment, so those are the cause of the change in status there. We'll do any other comments that anybody else has? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Move forward to item 14, the cancellation of the June 27th study session. Entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the cancellation of the June 27th study session.
Second.
Motion by Schneider, second by Birgen. Council discussion, if any.
I guess, I presume we don't have anything to,
During the summer, it really
Yeah.
picks up for construction and things with staff, and it's not uncommon. In past years, we've had at least one and sometimes both study sessions in the summer canceled because commissions have already been appointed, they've
Yeah.
already talked for the year, so there really isn't anything
yeah, that's fine. Just,
to discuss, and it gives you a little bit of break in between. But yeah, we do not have anything set for the study session.
okay.
And the July 4th meeting is going to occur on July 11th. So
Right.
we will have a 3-week break till our next meeting.
Right.
So gonna miss your smiling faces.
Get your fill now.
Some people are gonna have to find something else to work for a sleep aid.
We have a loyal following.
Yeah,
we do.
what
TV. More
what's
people
Pete
watch
do?
than you would think,
Yes.
so they'll have to watch something else. Or reruns.
All right.
There's nothing about that whole statement that's not sad.
Oh, come on.
Greatest hits together.
Yeah, I could think of a few.
The fact you
Interesting
polarized that
meetings they
kinda
could
made it
watch.
funny too, that there's
Yeah.
more than one.
Yeah, so,
For those that want to at least come to the building, there's the bench outside.
If
Close
you're that
at least.
attached, you can knock yourself out, sit there for an hour, whatever you want.
Right.
to
meditate.
I won't be here.
do. I will not either.
All right. All in favor of the cancellation of that June 27th study session, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Section K is reports from boards and commissions. Item number 1 is Golf Commission minutes of January 11th, 22. Item 2 is Leisure Services Commission minutes of February 17th of 22. Item 3 is Golf Commission minutes of April 12th, 22. Item 4 is Airport Commission minutes, April 14th of 22. Item 5 is Leisure Services Commission minutes of April 21st, 22. Item 6 is the Bremer Waverly Law Board minutes of May 9th, 22. Item 7 is the Civil Service minutes of May 12th of 22, all received into the record. Any staff updates, Mr. Browner?
I think Garrett has a brief one, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, just a couple things. We talked a little bit about the plaza earlier, South Riverside. Just wanted to bring to the attention of everyone that Trees Forever actually donated $1,100 towards that project for the trees. It's about a third of the cost of the trees and the some of the other vegetation down there. So thank you to them for helping out with that. The Waterloo Cedar Falls Symphony is going to be here July 3rd for an Independence Day show. 7 o'clock, they'll be over at the amphitheater in Coleman Park, so feel free to come out and watch that. And then I also wanted to note that we received a $3,000 grant from the Bremer County Foundation to be used for the new and improved disc golf course through Brookwood Park and then some of the other areas down there. And then the private group who's working with us on that has already got about $5,000 in donations. So they're doing really well. We're getting baskets ordered and we're getting some stuff cleared out. Hopefully we'll see something here in the fall. If not, it will be early spring next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we have tonight, sir.
Thank you, sir. City council comments. Mr. Birgen.
So I was looking at my memories and I see that 7 years ago, the gentleman of the road was here. Good memories about that. I think we'd all like to see things like that happening in Waverly. So, it's been too long since we had those kind of big events. So, it'd be nice to have stuff like that again. Anyone who'd like to join me to discuss city council business after the meeting, I will be at the beach house.
I figured as much.
With your tropical shirt on.
Ms. Belford.
No comments.
Ms. Rathe.
I want to put in a plug for people coming to help us at the community garden. We could use the volunteers. Plants are looking good. Even the cabbage that Garrett and I planted is thriving. So if you want to volunteer, and you do not need to know anything about gardening, Tuesday evenings from 6 to 8 and Saturday mornings 9 to 11.
Thank you. Ms. Meyers.
I just wanted to recognize today being the official recognition of Juneteenth. And I'd like to recognize the Diversity Commission too for all that they've been doing in the recent weeks. And I think they're having a really positive impact on our community, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
No comments.
Thank you, Mr. Schneider. Mr. Drenkow.
Nothing that hasn't already been mentioned.
All right. Mr. Kangas.
I'm good for now.
All right. Seeing as how we won't have a meeting before the 4th of July, I just want to re-preface the ordinance regarding the use of fireworks in the community. They are allowed July 3rd and 5th from the hours of noon to 10 p.m. and on July 4th between the hours of noon and 11 p.m. Be courteous of your neighbors with the outfall and trash. You have to use them on your property or the property that you have express permission to utilize, which does not include streets, parks, sidewalks, etc.
So you can't shoot them off right now?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Or here.
Because kind of hearing them, so I was checking.
Yeah.
Make sure.
So that's the advice. That's when people ask, well, don't you give warnings? I just did. You're welcome. The other thing is boards and commissions, we've been getting them filled. Some applications have been slowly coming in for some of the vacancies and renewals and those types of things. One that's outstanding there is the airport commission. We have to try to keep our boards and commissions balanced gender-wise. So I encourage when we have openings on boards and commissions, whether it be now or in the future, men, women, all walks of life, please apply to engage in the community. Some commissions don't meet very often. Some meet obviously every month, but there are those opportunities. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Kangas, second by Birgen. All in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.